Shalom, all praise and glory be unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rachak Wadash, the bonds to the elder apostles at Great Millstone, who rule well and who have taught us his knowledge. The salutations to your fellow laborers, doing the work week in and week out. Shalom also to the few Akwaf that believe as well. Excuse me. Now, I got a couple clips I'm going to play. And I'm going to try to make this video short, Lord willing. So, I don't have a title at the moment, but Lord willing, I'll come up with a title at the end of this video. Get into, they basically got this guy, Harry Rosenberg. He's a rabbi. And watch what he said about the people on the west coast of, well, he ain't going to say west coast of Africa, but he going to say they fled deep into Africa. So, Lord willing, this video is edifying. I'm going to go into prophecy about Deuteronomy 28 and 68. So, Lord willing, this video is edifying, and let's get right into it.
Thank you very much. Listen, you're doing such amazing work, and this story just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper every time we approach this topic. And I wanted to kind of start. We're talking a lot about the Lemba people today. If you could kind of put
now, notice that the Lemba, the title of this video is the 10 Lost Tribes, which the Lemba people don't come from. They come from the Southern Kingdom. And he's going to pretty much admit out of his own mouth. So just keep listening.
Light on the connection to the Lemba people specifically, and the tribes of Israel, and possible genetic links that are shown through a Cohen bloodline.
First of all, the Lemba historically has always self-identified as being from the children of Israel.
Now, how can they self-identify as being from the children of Israel when nobody taught them that? All right, he said, and watch it. Let me play that back, man. You got to listen to these people, man. Okay?
And the tribes of Israel, and possible genetic links that are shown through a Cohen bloodline.
First of all, the Lemba historically has always self-identified as being from the children of Israel.
Historic. No one taught them that. This has been in their minds and spirits for a long time. Nobody taught them this. And these people come from the West Coast mainly. The area where the slave ships came from. Keep listening.
We could discuss which tribe they're going to come from in a second, but just they had reached out to Israel in the early inception of the state, and a lot of people thought that this was a tribe just trying to jump on the bandwagon.
Now, you look at that, he said that, right? Now, I'm going to go to another video. Let's go here.
Look, it worked. $1,400 health stimulus deposited into my account. You can't fake bank receipts. That's $1,400. World were able to move to Israel, so they said we are also.
All right, let's play it back.
To bring up a few specific examples, because they're going to be game changers. One of them wrote letters to Israel when it became a...
Hold on, let's go back.
Deep into Africa.
Here we go.
And sold into slavery. Into Africa right now, of being from the people of Israel.
So this video right here, Shalaki, I'm kind of fidgety with the timestamp, but I want to get it so you hear it for yourself, right? He's going to say that they went deep into Africa, which is the same as like saying the interiors of Africa. Because from the land of Israel into Africa, what would be the deepest points? The interiors, which means the utmost parts, the furthest parts of Africa, right?
Does that mean they were from the 10 tribes? Likely not. We were taught by the historians and within our own traditions that when the Romans conquered Judea, a few hundred years after that the tribes of Israel went into exile, perhaps millions of Judeans were sold into slavery. Into Africa, into Rome, deep into Africa.
Deep into Africa. Okay, so that lets you know that they know that Israelites went deep into Africa. Now, when you go to Google, all right, I'm gonna go to Google real quick. When you go to Google, let's go here. Bear me 1 second. It's like I'm back. So, looking at the geographical location of Israel in the land of Africa as you know it. Oh, I see. I didn't even know this, right? So it says Strom Center for Jewish Studies. So they got this map which comes from Small Hats. And they showing arrows. Now I don't know what it's for. It says diplomatic relations with Israel. But when you look at the fact of, again, gotta bring up the map, right? You see Israel, the arrows at. Now, I didn't create this map. I just happened to stumble across it just now. When you see Morocco on down to Western Sahara, on down to Senegal, Guinea, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Nigeria, on down to Cameroon, the Congo even. You have and some of Angola, but the deep into Africa, these are the parts that they would go. This is what it means to be deep or utmost, right? Let's get that utmost. Uttermost. What does that mean? Uttermost means, says well, don't say much on the yeah. I'm gonna give a defined definition. Let's go to Google and define it. Uttermost. So, okay, here we go. So it says uttermost, usually uncountable, plural, uttermost, the utmost, the highest or greatest degree, the farthest, all right, the farthest extent. So they would go to the farthest parts of the land of Africa as you know it today, which is really the land of Ham, fleeing from Roman persecution. Now, this is prophecy because he admits, Harry Rosenberg, he admits this, right? Bear me 1 second. He admits this, right? He was in a video which I did a little while ago. And he admitted that the prophecies of Deuteronomy 20:28. He mentioned the Negroes. He didn't mention all the tribes. And they always forget about us, northern tribes. Now watch this. So, let me see, can I find it? Let me see, can I find it? Here we go.
I don't know if we're part of the future.
All right, now here we go. I want you to hear this. Let me make sure I get this. I want to rewind it. It's about this point. Now watch what he say.
I want y'all to load up that chat room of all the verses where you guys are the chosen people of Israel, because for some reason, these guys don't know nothing about that. They never heard of that. This shit is the biggest conspiracy I've ever seen in my life. I've ever heard in my life. I've never seen people subscribe to the Torah totally oblivious to the chosen people of Israel. I've never seen this a day in my life. You guys are amazing for that.
Yeah. My one critique to the Israelite African American community is, yeah, you may fulfill that biblical prophecy, right? Deuteronomy 28:68, getting brought on ships, right?
So he admitted. He admitted. All right. Let's play that back, man.
My one critique to the Israelite African American community is, yeah, you may fulfill that biblical prophecy, right? Deuteronomy 28:68, getting brought on ships, right? Very, very, very amazing. It all lines up. It's,
I mean, he don't need to say no more. Let's go to exactly what he's talking about. Now keep in mind, they just make it a so-called black thing. What about the so-called Latin tribe, the so-called Native American Indigenous Americas tribe, as they call us? All right, Deuteronomy 28:68. So this is what he's referring to. You know why? He know what Egypt means. he said that you may. He said, yeah, you may feel the prophecy of Deuteronomy 28:68 being brought on ships, because it says exactly that, right? Deuteronomy 28:68, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. The word Egypt means bondage or house of bondage. It says again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. Because from that point of being brought on slave ships into bondage again, they wouldn't see or be even close to the land of Israel. Okay, so the first part of this curse, all right, because this is a curse that happened, right? When you read up to the 15th verse again, it said that what? Let's get it. Deuteronomy 28:15. But it should come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and the statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses should come upon thee and overtake thee. So that the curse of Deuteronomy 28:68, when he says that he's going to take him into slavery again, or the house of bondage again with ships, who fit that prophecy? Again, out of his own mouth.
yeah, you may fulfill that biblical prophecy, right? Deuteronomy 28:68, getting brought on ships, right? Very, very, very amazing. It all lines up. It's beautiful. But
He said it all lines up. It all lines up. See? Come on, man. It all lines up. See? Now let's go back to it. Deuteronomy 28:68. And the Lord, which the word Lord will be Yahweh in the Hebrew. In all caps it says Yahweh. Shall bring thee into Egypt, the house of bondage again. How did we prove that? It even says in the Exodus 20. And the Heavenly Father spake all these words, saying, I am Yahweh thy power, which have brought thee into the land of Egypt. The land of Egypt is Mizraim. That's the real name of that land. But it was known for what? Out of the house of bondage. It was known for what? Bondage. The house of bondage, where the nation, all right, of Israel was really, made to be a nation that was great in number. The Lord increased Jacob in the land of Egypt, which is Mizraim. It was known to be what? The house of bondage unto Jacob's descendants, which are the Israelites. See? And he knows it. That's why he admits it. He admits it, right? You can't get around it. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, house of bondage again, all right, house of bondage again, with ships, slave ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Now, you can't get around that, man. All right, let me go to the blue letter. Bond men, bond women. Let's get that, man. And remember, Rabbi Yaron Reuven, he said that Jake claimed to say that they stole their identity. And when you look at the camps, what are the camps doing? They're going into prophecy. See? This is bond men, slave servant, man servant, or man slave, or slave man. Same thing, man. All right. Bond women, maid servant, slave girl. See? You can't get around this, man. When you even Google this, on web search that. Bond men. All right, bond men. Slave. Bond men. And bond women, right? Let's go to images. Uh-oh. Now I wonder why images of so-called Negroes come up. Look at this. They show you what? Israelites being sold on auction blocks. See? Look at this. Let's zoom in. Now, we didn't create Google, but we use Google because Google is a good tool to use. You see on the one side it says African, pointing to the guy standing up, Israelite, and then show the Israelites being shackled down, yokes of iron upon their necks, being led to slave ships, to be brought over to the right of the picture, to be sold as bond men and bond women. And this just ain't happened to the Southern Kingdom. This is the transatlantic slave trade. It started with the so-called Hispanics and Native Americans, when you go deep into it. All right, the Spanish and the conquistadors, all right, the English, they took so-called Native Americans and Hispanics across the across the Atlantic Ocean, and they were sold into slavery as well, into different parts of Europe and different parts of the world. See? Let's get another precept, man. Because this picture right here, what I just showed you, that links up with Joel. Nobody's trying to claim one identity or steal someone's identity. It's our identity that's been stolen. Excuse me. Is that Joel 2 or 3? I think it's 3. It's 3. Joel 3. Joel 3. Let me start at 3 and I'm going to jump down. It says, and they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they may drink. So that happened. You go into slavery, you had boys being sold for harlots, and girls being sold for wine or liquor. Now this is something that actually took place. See? Now, speaking to that picture, right? Verse 6. The children also of Judah, because when you look at who came from the land of Africa as you know it today, it's known as the land of Ham in the scriptures. The ones that were put on ships from that point was the children of Judah. You had Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. It says the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem, which is when you go to Deuteronomy, not Deuteronomy, Shalakia, Ezekiel 37, the awakening. It says join Judah and his companions to a stick. It's talking about the other tribes of the southern kingdom, because Judah, Benjamin, and Levi was known as the Jews. All right, collectively, those three tribes are known as the Jews. It says, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians. The Grecians go back to who? The Edomites. So-called white people. That's why they celebrate Greek customs and Greek history so much, because that's their history. And even during that history, they were causing many Israelites to discontinue from their heritage, even during that time, because you go in the Maccabees, what's that, Second Maccabees 6? It says that they made it illegal for the Jews to even call themselves Jews, man, which would be Yahweh, all right, or Yahweh, all right. So it says, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. Because how you remove them far from their border is by taking them from this point right here. Let's go to another map. See, the land of Israel touches the land of Africa, as well as other countries too. But speaking of Africa, because one of their biggest fleeing paths was in Africa, right? When they fled into Africa, remember the utmost parts of Africa. Let's go back here. A bigger map. They would flee to the west, northwest, little southwest, in some central parts of Africa, fleeing from Roman persecution. And from that point, if you take it from that point and take them over to the Americas you know them as today, that is removing someone far from their border. Because by leaving them there, they can travel to the land of Israel. See? So let's go back to the precept. It says, Joel 3:6, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. See? It says, behold, I will raise them out of the place where ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. See? So that actually took place. The picture I showed you, that's the picture of them being removed far from their border and being sold as bondmen and bondwomen. Okay? So let's go from there. It makes sense that the awakening of the people that was taken from the west coast of Africa, which are so-called Negroes, so-called African Americans, as they call them. Those are not their names. The reason you had Port Judah, Port Levi, Port Benjamin, which they hide that. They hide that. I don't think you can even Google it today. Can you Google that? Let me try to Google it. See, can I get that? See, they call it Wida now. All right, but it was known as Port Judah. It says Wida or Wida, and Judah by the French. Yeah. Ajuda by the Portuguese, and Frida by the Dutch, and known locally as Glewe. I don't know how to pronounce that, Shalakia. Formerly the chief port of the Kingdom of Wida, is a city on the coast of the Republic of Benin. See? So that was an actual port, a slave port. Where's Benin? Let's go to Benin. All right. Matter of fact, hold on. Let's go back. Go back. Um, yep. So Benin. Oh, Slocky. That's taking the GPS. And I don't want to go right there. Let's get a map. Benin. Okay, let's see what comes up right here. All right, here we go. So, okay, so we got Benin, okay. Now, let me find it and highlight it. Notice it's from the utmost parts of, or deep into Africa, right? Benin, the same area where the slave ships went. So this is Benin right here. So the slave port will more than likely be down here. You see this says Atlantic Ocean right here. See? So there you go, man. All right, need I say anymore? That's how it was removed far from their borders. See? So Port Judah, I just Googled it right down the spot. I'm doing everything around the spot. Can't say I made up anything, man. All right, let's go. Con. That's why the last video I did, which was last night, the remake of the video I did the day before, I had to redo it because of technical difficulties. You know, pretty much these two videos I've done is just showing you that it's showing you that the people of the Lord, all right, are being revealed. All right, the great awakening. All right. The awakening of the children of Israel start with the tents of Judah. You know, it's taking place, man. There we go. Isaiah 42:8, it says, I am the Lord. Well, it says Yahweh in the Hebrew, it says Yahweh. All right. I am Yahweh, which is the Most High Heavenly Father, the one true living God. That's his proper name. I am Yahweh, that is my name, and my glory will I not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. See? Excuse me. So the Lord let it know who his glory going to rest upon. Because Judah is the lead tribe, and through Judah, the Most High using Judah to wake up the rest of the tribes. That's how the rest of us know. All right, that's how the rest of, like I myself, you know, I learned this knowledge from someone of the tents of Judah. Zechariah 12:7, it says, the Lord also shall save the tents of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. See? The Lord will raise the tents of Judah first. In Judah, all right, Judah is being used to teach the rest of us. This is why you have the Latin tribes out on the highways and hedges. You never hear him mention the Latin tribes, which I've shown that in the last video. You never hear him mention the Latin tribes and the so-called Native American tribes. They rarely ever mention us. All right. Some of us are light brown, cake unturned. Some of us are still dark. Hey, we come in different shades, man. Different kind of different complexions of brown, man. And even you have Israelites that look like the Edomites, so-called white people. That's something that they don't tell you as well, because your bloodline goes by the house of your fathers. All that DNA shit they do, that DNA stuff, man, is inconclusive because most of them claim to be descendants of someone through their mothers. Numbers 1:18 tell you that you go by your pedigree, by the house of your fathers, which is your bloodline. See? So Judah, again, since Judah was risen first, and Judah, was the ones that was teaching us. When I woke up to this knowledge through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, sending men to me to teach me, to run across each other's path. The Lord did that to all of us, not just myself, all of the brothers that know this truth. Okay? Let's get that real quick. This is John 6:44. No man can come to me except the Father which has sent me draw him. And I will raise him up at the last day. So this is how it happened with all of us that know this knowledge. All right. It was Yahweh Shem Yahushua that drew us. All right, and led us to the men that we can learn from. See? And this is how we know all this knowledge and history of our ancestors, which is in the Bible. All right, the Bible is our history book. You know, when so-called Black history come around, you notice they don't never mention the Bible. When how can you find the main history about so-called Black, so-called brown people? All right, to find the real history of so-called Black and brown people, you have to go into the Bible. The very book that show you who these people are, especially according to prophecy, which this is a prophetic book. See? Showing that the Lord kept his word within Jacob. Psalms 147 and verse 19, it says, he showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgment unto Israel. He had not dealt so in any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Now, a good question to ask, the small hats is if, well, I'll say that for another video. Because they claim to live by, the what they call the Holy Torah. They say it like that. It's the Torah, all right? They claim to live by it, but there's a lot of flaws, all right, within their argument that proves that they don't. And I'm going to prove that in the next video. Then I'm going to go into the law of the Heavenly Father that was given to the Israelites and prove that they don't live by them. And that includes, I'll mention it and get into it in the next video. All right, to the next video, Shalom.